And we have the people who love democracy so much kind of not wanting democracy to be protected because they know in this instance it will go in their favour. Hundreds of thousands face exclusion over voter ID laws, UK watchdog says. Warning policy could disproportionately affect poorer people. Pardon me, those with disabilities and those from minority ethnic backgrounds. Why is that? Well, let's find out. Hundreds of thousands of people could be excluded from voting in a UK general election because of voter ID laws, the government's election watchdog has said. I think that in order to make sure that an election is accurate and fair, and the people who were passing, who were actually submitting their votes, were eligible to vote, I think that we should have methods to check that. But there's other things I have to show you later on, but we'll save it for the end. The laws could have a disproportionate effect on poorer people, those with disabilities, and people from minority ethnic backgrounds, the Electoral Commission warned. Minority ethnic backgrounds, what did they mean by that? I'll save it all for the end. It said ministers should take urgent action to alleviate these impacts, including drawing up a wider list of documents that people can show to vote and allow people without ID to have someone else vouch for their identity. That's Steve. I vouch for him. What repercussions will I face if that is not Steve? None at all. So, in other words, bring. Oh yeah, see all those family members that aren't supposed to be here in Britain that you've got living, nameless, and unrecorded in your house. Yeah, bring them. Just make up a name and they can all vote. Such a damning verdict from the official body for elections risks considerable embarrassment for ministers who have repeatedly refused to engage with similar concerns from charities and other groups about the impact of voter ID. However, in its own statement about the report, the Department for Levelling Up, which has responsibility for elections, failed to mention any of the criticisms and said that the rollout of voter ID had instead been very encouraging. The Commission's report, based on a detailed study of the May local elections in England, the first mass use of voter ID in the UK outside Northern Ireland, said the disenfranchised effect of the law was very likely to be proportionately greater in a general election. Among people who did not vote in May, 4% said it was because of voter ID. If this figure went up to 5%, it could mean about 800,000 people staying away from polls at a general election. Then just get ID. Just get ID. It's literally so fucking easy. I'll save it for the end. The study. I'm so sorry about all this coughing, but there isn't much I can do. My nose hurts like there. It hurts so much because the amount I've had to blow it over the last 5 days. I still feel terrible, but you know, I've got a job to do. The study additionally found a disproportionate impact on certain demographic groups, and I can tell you exactly why that is. In order for you to actually get one of the government IDs, of which there are many, you need to be a UK citizen. These people aren't able to prove they're UK citizens because they're not. That's why it affects them so much. Don't need, you don't need like social scientists or studies or anything like that. I can tell you that right now. In fact, I'm going to prove it to you at the end. In May, there tended to be a higher proportion of people turned away for lacking ID in more deprived areas than in more prosperous places. Turned away for lacking ID. Curious. I wonder what's. I wonder what the ethnic makeup is of those places. The survey of people who did not vote in May found that while 3% overall said this was because they lacked the required ID, why don't they get the ID? I'll say, I keep almost coming too early. I'll save it for the end. This rose to 8% for those who were unemployed and 9% for people with a significant disability. Similarly, young voters or those from minority ethnic backgrounds were 5 times as likely as the overall average to say that they were unable to vote because they took the wrong ID to a polling station. It's just got to have a pass mark of the government. I mean, if you go onto the government website, it tells you what ones they accept. In fact, at the end, I'm going to teach you. Ministers have faced significant criticism over the limited number of acceptable forms of ID, which includes a series of documents issued to older people, but almost none issued to younger ones, such as travel passes and student documents. One of the reports One of the report's key recommendations is that the current list should be expanded in a way that would help excluded groups to vote. Another proposal was to allow a voter who does have ID to make an attestation at a polling station vouching for the identity of someone who lacks the necessary documents. The only person who doesn't have any kind of documents like whatsoever to prove who they are, like not even a bill or anything like that, is illegal immigrants because they're not able to register themselves at any address. They're a ghost in the system because they're here illegally. That's why. And they want the illegal immigrants voting because they know they're going to vote for them. That's why they're terrified of voter ID. Like, I guarantee you, see if we bring in full-fledged, like, big, hard-on, and like, voter ID and just enforce it like fuck. Watch how, like, check the dip in left-wing votes. Check the dip in left-wing votes when we roll that out, and I guarantee you it will be considerable. Any changes should happen at the earliest opportunity, given the prospect of a general election this year or next year, the Commission said, warning more generally that a massive changes had left the electoral system creaking badly. Although election teams carried off the May local elections without significant hitches, this was only done because of exceptional efforts and commitment, and in some cases by borrowing staff from neighbouring areas not holding a vote, which would not be possible in a general election, the report said. It reiterates previous warnings from electoral officers that pressures, including ID enforcement, had made it increasingly hard to recruit polling station staff, with almost a quarter reporting significant issues. Florence Echelome, the Shadow Democracy Minister, called for a review of the policy. She said, this extremely concerning report brings into sharp focus the consequences of the Tories' failed photo ID regulations. It's wrong that the Conservatives have snatched the ability of legitimate voters to have a say in their services and society. No, they still absolutely can. They just have to get ID, and it's so fucking easy. It's so easy. It's amazing. I'm literally going to teach you how to do it at the end. Basically, like, of course, Labour's worried about it. Of course, Labour are terrified about it because they're like, oh no, we love it when those illegals bolster our numbers, even though legitimately they can't vote and everything. Yeah, like, fuck democracy when it helps us. But if you want to, like, secure democracy, I mean, I think it's really, really telling when, basically, see if there's a political ideology that is massively in favour of insecure democracy, it shows that they know there is cheating and they want the cheating to continue. So they're literally, by definition, undemocratic. Like, they're cheating and sly and all that shit. Like, it's just amazing how quickly they tell on themselves. Rishi Sunak's official spokesperson said the government would consider the findings of the report, adding, we have said that we would learn any lessons from this initial rollout. Blah, blah, blah. This is them begging for money again. Right, there you go. Post office pass card, £15. No existing ID required to apply. Home Office approved and accepted throughout the UK. There you are. You just have to prove you're a British citizen. Which, if you are, you will be given your papers from the immigration office. That's one of the first things they ask for if you were not born in the UK. £15. There you go. So go on then. Oh, too much. There you are. Government ID card, citizen card. You just have to be a UK resident, live within the United Kingdom, so that means born here, or you're an official immigrant, like you're allowed to be here. Create your online account, complete the application, choose the verification route. There's multiple ways you can verify who you are. They'll probably ask for immigration papers, proof of address, all the standard stuff to make sure that you are in fact a UK citizen, because when it comes to democratic votes, in pretty much all democratic nations, the citizens are the people who vote in the elections, so they want to make sure that you're a citizen. So there's two very, very easy ones that you can actually do online from your house. You can do it from your phone, because they've all got smartphones. It's weird that. I mean, if you can afford the smartphone contract and all that stuff, you can afford £15. Oh, I don't have the internet. That's fine. Go down to the post office. Everywhere has a post office. Go down, apply for your card. You just fill out a form. Just give them the £15. They send it off, get your card printed, and get it sent to you. There you are. I've just solved the voter ID problem. I've just solved it. I mean, but poor people, cool then. Well, the post office is state-owned. Like, the government literally fucking own it. Just say, if it's a poor person and they can prove that they're not working or they're on benefits or something, then you get a pass card for free, so that you can still take part in the wonderful democratic process of these great islands. Can't even get angry without coughing more. But yeah, there you go, I've just solved the problem. Oh, but they still can't get ID. Why is that? Because they're not here legally, are they? That's why. Oh, they can't. You can walk to the post office, you can pull your smartphone out your pocket, right? You can come up with 15 fucking quid. See, if you can't come up with 15 quid to vote in the election, then you obviously don't care that much about the election, which means we kind of don't want you voting in it. Right? If democracy isn't worth like 15 quid to you, then you obviously don't care. So yeah, let's just be very honest. It's because you want illegals voting, right? That's why you want illegals voting, because it inflates your numbers. That is why you're so terrified of voter ID.